Many people debate who Jesus really is. Muslims, for example, reject the idea that Jesus is the Son of God and instead see him as a prophet. But the Bible gives Jesus two key titles, Son of God and Son of Man. These names aren't just labels, they reveal his divine and human nature, his mission, and his ultimate role in history. Jesus as the Son of God. The title Son of God emphasizes Jesus' divine nature and his unique relationship with God the Father. It's not about physical sonship, but about his identity as God's chosen Messiah. At his baptism, Matthew chapter 3, verse 17, records God's voice from heaven, saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." John chapter 1, verse 14, calls Jesus the only begotten Son of God, showing his uniqueness. The Old Testament also points to this title. In Psalm chapter 2, verse 7, God declares, "You are my Son, today I have begotten you." This verse is seen as a prophecy about the coming Messiah. Jesus didn't just claim this title, he demonstrated it through his authority and unity with God. In John chapter 10, verse 30, he says, "I and the Father are one." The people understood this as a claim to divinity. John chapter 5, verse 18 tells us that when Jesus called God his Father, his opponents sought to kill him because he was making himself equal with God. Finally, believing in Jesus as the Son of God is central to salvation. John chapter 20, verse 31 says, "These are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name." But Jesus wasn't just divine, he was also fully human. That's where the title Son of Man comes in. Jesus as the Son of Man. The title Son of Man appears nearly 80 times in the Gospels, and Jesus often used it to refer to himself. It highlights his humanity, suffering, and future reign. First, it shows that Jesus fully identified with humanity. Mark 10:45 says, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Hebrews 2:17 explains that Jesus had to be made like his brothers in every respect to be a merciful high priest. But Son of Man is also a title of great power. In Daniel 7:13-14, the prophet describes a vision. "Behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man, and to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom." Jesus used this title to connect himself to this prophecy, showing that he is the one who will rule over all nations. The Son of Man also had to suffer. In Mark 8:31, Jesus says, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected and be killed, and after 3 days rise again." Luke 19:10 adds, "For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." His mission was to rescue sinners through his suffering, death, and resurrection, but the story doesn't end there. The Son of Man will return in glory. Matthew 24:30 says, "Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Matthew 25:31 describes how the Son of Man will come in his glory, and all the angels with him. Then he will sit on his glorious throne. He will return to judge the nations and establish God's kingdom forever. Conclusion: 2 titles, 1 Saviour. Together these titles give us a complete picture of Jesus. Son of God affirms his divine nature, his relationship with the Father, and his authority as the Messiah. Son of Man highlights his humanity, his suffering for our salvation, and his future reign as King. Jesus is both fully God and fully man. As the bridge between heaven and earth, he came to save us, and he will one day return in glory. The question is, do you believe in him?